Welcome to Microsoft Excel Tips and Tricks. My name is Becky Wiegand, and I am here as your host today from TechSoup, and we will also be joined by Todd Sweetser from Microsoft. I am a webinar program manager here at TechSoup, having been with the organization since 2008, and prior to that spent about a decade working for small nonprofits in Washington, D.C. and Oakland, California, where I was a user of TechSoup services as the accidental techie at small organizations. We are also joined today by our Microsoft Excel Pro, Todd Sweetser, who is a partner technology strategist with Microsoft. And he will be walking us through some of the new features and really cool things that you can do with Excel, along with some neat shortcuts that you can use, whether you have the current version, and some of them apply to past versions as well, and to show us where you can find more learning resources to further maximize how you're using and leveraging Excel in your day-to-day office use. Also assisting with chat, you'll see Patricia Stone from Microsoft and Ali Bezdikian from TechSoup. You may also see Kevin Lowe from TechSoup. Ali is an interactive video and events producer here at TechSoup, and Kevin is a program manager who is a real tech expert on our end. So we will do our best to answer questions, but we do have a really big crowd today. We're expecting around 500 people to be on. So I'm going to apologize in advance because I assume we may not be able to get through everyone's questions in the course of an hour. Excel is a big product and a lot of different ways to use it. So we'll do our best to point you to additional resources where you can get those questions answered if we aren't able to answer them today. So look at today's agenda. We'll do a quick introduction of TechSoup. We'll take a couple of minutes just to poll where you're at currently with using Excel, and that will help inform our discussion as we move forward. We'll look at how to get started quickly, including a demo. We'll look at some keyboard shortcuts. We'll look at data visualization tips, how to use and share Excel data with others, and some advanced capabilities. And so we may not spend a ton of time on the advanced stuff depending on how you respond to those polls. And then we'll have just a couple of minutes toward the end so that those of you who either don't have Excel currently or are running an older version and would like to upgrade to a newer version can find out how to access the donated Office 2013 or Office 365. So TechSoup is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we are working towards the day when every nonprofit on the planet can access the technology, resources, and knowledge they need to operate at their full potential. We have been around since 1987 and have helped more than 200,000 charitable organizations in more than 60 countries around the world. We do this in a variety of ways, from events like these free webinars that we offer to help you learn more about the technologies you already have on hand, to also offering products in our catalog that are donated by consultants, or products like Windows 8.1 or the latest QuickBooks 2014. Find this and more on TechSoup's website at TechSoup.org. So now let's jump us into these poll questions. So go ahead and click on one of the radio buttons on your screen to let us know what version of Office you're currently running. And if I didn't include an option, for example, I meant to include Office 365 on this list and Office Online, but in the wee hours of the morning I forgot. So if you're running those, go ahead and chat into the window to let us know. This will help us have a better idea of what you're using currently and whether or not you need more info or links to resources about prior versions. I have a couple of people chiming in saying that they're on Office 365. That's great, and we will talk a little bit about Office 365 and some of the great integration and sharing capabilities that come with using tools like Excel with Office 365. I have some people saying Office 2013 with Office 365, Mac 2011. So great. Thank you so much for letting us know which ones you're using. It looks like about half of you are using Office 2010, and about a third, or 30%, are using Office 2013, and not too many are using Office 2003 or earlier, which is good because today's event we will be looking at this on the Office 2013 product because that is the current version. And we will also have a couple of minutes to look at it through Office 365's lens. But we will point you to some resources for those of you who are on 2010 as well, and some of the things that Todd will cover will also be applicable to those of you on 2010. And one more quick question before I hand it off to Todd. What level of expertise do you currently self-identify having with Excel? So this is just your assessment of yourself. Do you consider yourself a basic user where you can manage simple spreadsheets but not necessarily create them or connect them to one another? Do you consider yourself intermediate where you're pretty good at using charts and using formulas and how the different cells can interact with one another? Do you consider yourself an advanced user where you're doing business intelligence with your data, for example? Or are you really not sure how to even self-assess because maybe you're brand new to the product? Let me give just another few seconds so that everybody has a chance to weigh in here. And if there's something that you want to let us know that's not an option on your screen, again, feel free to chat into us to let us know. Just give 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to show the results here, but you can keep clicking. So Tracy asks, where do pivot reports fall? I would say that's probably intermediate to advanced, depending. So I think either of those could be right because pivot reports could be intermediate, but they could also be really complicated. So kind of depends. This is just to get a general idea. So let's go ahead and bring our primary presenter on the line so that we can have him tell us a little bit more about what he does and take us through using Excel and showing us some of those great features and tips. Welcome, Todd. We're so glad to have you.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, TechSoup, for inviting me and hosting this event. Definitely have a great large crowd with a good mix of levels. Hopefully you'll get a good amount of help out of today's information. Some of it may be a little more basic for some of you, while hopefully some of it will be information you may not have heard of on a more advanced scale. As far as my background, just so everybody understands my role, as mentioned, I'm a partner technology strategist here at Microsoft. My primary role is to work with our Microsoft partner community to make sure that they are prepared and engaged with customers and understand the product from a technical point of view. So I work right alongside many of our partners that work alongside and assist many of the nonprofit and library organizations out there that TechSoup also works with. So there's definitely a lot of places where we all work together. With that, I'll go ahead and get started. Quick, very high-level agenda. I'm going to go over a very high-level talk about how the game is changing around data, and then start getting into the tips around how Excel can be used to help keep that data engaging and usable to a wide variety of people across your organizations. And then lastly, we have a slide and some information with links on how to get further information of everything that we're going to be talking about today. So in terms of the game always changing, I mean, these aren't necessarily 100% focused on Excel, but more about the overall architecture and what people are using these tools, Excel included, out of the Office suite, and using them to engage and build their organizations. A lot of people are moving data to the cloud, and some things that I'll show today actually discuss and will demonstrate how you can actually store and share and manipulate information in a cloud environment using familiar Excel platform and using familiar Excel themes and usability capabilities. Also, in respect to the mobile devices, obviously that's continuing to skyrocket at a tremendous pace, and we see many organizations having a wide variety of devices, everybody having at least 2 or 3 different devices to access their data on a daily basis. Everything from phones, mobile devices, tablets, up to the laptops and so on. And hopefully everybody understands. I'm not going to show a lot of mobile stuff today, but there's definitely options, the way to access data in conjunction with our cloud services to access Excel spreadsheets on mobile devices. Of course, Office for iPhone, Office for iPad, which was more recently announced, is available, as well as available to access Office on a variety of other mobile devices, or Windows Phone devices and tablets and so on. And then using that data to compete and win. And this slide says customers, and maybe it's more about just those folks that you guys want to engage with as nonprofit and library organizations to make sure that the data is appropriate for them. And a lot of it, the key word there is data, and that's where Excel comes into play. The amount of data that exists out there is obviously growing, just like the usage of mobile devices at a tremendous pace. And to be able to access and use data both that you manipulate and own within your organizations, as well as even data externally, can make your organization much more powerful and much more complete with what they're presenting. So, I mean, and it comes down to what organizations really need. They need to be able to do more with less resources. So when we say less resources, you want to be able to get the most out of any investments that you have, and be able to do it wherever you are, again, with the idea of the mobile environment around us now, to be able to actually access that data, manipulate it, and work with it in a plane or sitting out in a park or sitting on a beach in Cancun or wherever you may be, but be able to engage and work with it wherever you are using whatever device you have, and making sure that you're getting the results that you're looking for based on that data. So that's kind of a high-level overview of just Excel and Office and the environment at play here. And let's start talking about now how you can actually use Excel to actually stay ahead of the game. And this is where we're going to start talking about different tips and different ways of using some of the different capabilities within the Excel platform. So kind of starting out with Excel 2013, the idea of being making it very easy to get started using Excel. And when I say get started, I mean being able to open it up and start using the type of spreadsheet that you want to use right away, be it one that you've already engaged with and you want to reopen, or selecting a new one. And you'll see with Excel 2013, I mean, there's ways of doing this in previous versions of Excel, but 2013 has really gone to the next step to make it very easy to either search from a recently used list items all the way up to searching for templates that are out there on the public domain, and as well as searching for older files. So I'll show you this in just a second here. But then probably more importantly, one thing that I like to learn and utilize, just coming from my background, which comes all the way back to mainframe and green screens and using function keys, using keyboard shortcuts. Excel is a very, very powerful tool. There's all kinds of ways to interact with Excel, as everybody probably well understands. And one of the nicest ways of getting things done quickly is learning shorthand keystrokes in order to accomplish very common tasks within the application, in this case Excel. And there's definitely no shortage of keyboard shortcuts available with Excel, and including a few examples here. But what I'm going to do now is actually go into a demonstration and actually show some of this. So I'm going to go ahead and share out my desktop. So everybody should be able to see my desktop. If they haven't, they'll see it in a quick second here. So this is my Windows 8.1 desktop, and I've got Excel running, and I've got it pinned to my taskbar below. Hopefully everybody can see that. A few quick items to note with taskbars. You can put your cursor over it and see a quick image of that current document that is already open. Something else that many people may not be aware of, you can right-click, and you can actually get a list right away of a recently used list of various documents that you've already worked with. You can also pin these, so I can click here and have it pinned, and it'll always be available. So if these are spreadsheets that I work with on a repetitive basis, I can go right away, click on Demo Sheet, and actually open up that particular sheet without having to go through the whole file open process. Right now what I'm going to do real quick is show